Today we're getting into the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news, including Tesla's new battery warranty, massive lease price increases hitting later this month, unsupervised Teslas spotted in the wild, Luminar's Lidar bankruptcy, and more. So let's get into it, and a special thanks to Lasfit for sponsoring this video. First up today, over at Tesla, they have launched a new extended service agreement in the United States and Canada for the Model 3 and Y specifically. This is particularly aimed at owners planning to keep their cars long-term, of course, and this is now known as the High Voltage Battery and Drive Unit Extended Service Agreement. It covers two of the most expensive EV components if they were to require a replacement outside of warranty. For this warranty, though, it's a one-time $2,000 cost, US dollars, or 2,800 Canadian dollars, and there's no subscription option. This adds 24 months or 30,000 miles of coverage, whichever comes first, beginning immediately after the original warranty ends. Then there's a deductible of $500 per service visit, which differs from the standard warranty, which of course has no deductible. You must purchase the ESA before the original battery and drive unit limited warranty expires, and there's no grace period here. So this will cover the repair or replacement of the high voltage battery and drive unit if they were to fail during that extended period. And then parts outside of these components, like a 12-volt battery or external cabling or anything, are not covered by this. You can check your eligibility and purchase this via the Tesla app under Upgrades, Service Plans. Then regarding transferability, the remaining coverage can transfer to a new owner if the car is sold privately and the warranty transfer is processed. We've seen Tesla expand a number of different warranties like this, and I think this one in particular might be a fairly popular option. It only extends it for 24 months, but for some people, they may be scared at the end of that Tesla warranty that they'll be facing a high repair cost for their entire battery. And here it's a $2,000 cost instead of what could usually be about $8,000 plus, depending on which car you have. Now, of course, today this is only for the Model 3 and Y, but we'll see if Tesla does offer future versions of this for the Model S and X or the Cybertruck, or for regions outside of North America. Now, speaking of North America, of course, Tesla recently announced that lease prices will be ending on December 26th, or at least increasing. And part of the current lease pricing is actually a $6,500 lease incentive. This kind of replaced the EV tax credit, which was $7,500 and was baked into leases previously, until that ended. But now exactly that $6,500 lease incentive is going away. Tesla announced the new upcoming prices, and it's looking like the Model Y Premium rear-wheel drive after December 26th will start at $549 per month with $3,000 down. So that's an increase of 22% over what it is right now. Then for the Model Y Premium all-wheel drive, it will be $649 a month to start with $3,000 down, which is a 35% increase. Then one of the biggest increases here is for the Model 3 Premium rear-wheel drive. That is now going to start at $499 per month with $3,000 down. So that is up a ton from $299 where it's at right now. That's a 67% increase that will be coming on December 26th. Then for the Model 3 Premium all-wheel drive, that's going to start at $549 per month with $3,000 down, an increase of 22%, and then the Model 3 Performance will go up to $749 per month with $3,000 down, up just 7%. Tesla says, quote, order and submit leasing application by December 26, 2025, must take delivery by December 31st, 2025. So of course, this is a very big incentive that Tesla is putting out there right now to get people to purchase these cars before the end of the year and then take delivery. You lock in your order by December 26th and then have to take delivery by the end of the year, or else you'll be facing these fairly substantial price increases if you are planning to lease. But of course, my real question here every time is how long will those increased prices last? They're probably all geared at inventory at the moment. Like, for instance, the base Model 3 increase is particularly huge, and that will likely change around in the coming months depending on inventory. But are they really going to succeed with starting that at $500 over the long term, or are they going to just keep these lease prices a little higher for a couple of weeks and then drop them again, like we've seen them do multiple times over the last few months? I think that is probably most likely what is going to happen here. But we'll see how this all works out and how Q4 ends up working as a result for leases. Now, for those who bought and are hoping to take advantage of the tax credit before the end of the year, they must take delivery before the end of the year, and there are some people looking to get this with the Performance Model Y. Tesla is now communicating to these people saying, it looks like the portal closes by end of the year, so there's no way for us to guarantee the funds. However, we will try our utmost to get this VIN down to your location before 2026. This is something we kind of knew was going to be the case, but it is a little unfortunate that Performance Model Y deliveries did end up getting a little delayed. Some people may be in a situation where they missed that EV tax credit that they were planning on for this car. Now, for interest rates right now, Tesla is offering some specific deals, and one of the biggest deals here is the Model Y Standard at 0% APR. That can be a very, very good deal for certain people that saves you a lot of money compared to upgrading your car and then paying a higher interest rate if you were planning to finance anyway. Now, somebody buying a Performance Model Y did have success getting a 3.99% interest rate, but officially from Tesla, the Model Y Standard is that 0%. The Premium, rear-wheel drive, and all-wheel drive are at 2.99%, and then the Performance is at 5.29%. For the Model 3 Standard, it's a huge contrast from the Model Y Standard with a 6.31% APR if you're going for the Model 3 Standard. Upgrading to Model 3 Premium, all-wheel drive, or Performance will allow you to get to 2.99% right now. So as always, there are a bunch of deals going on at Tesla, and I am curious to see what new stuff will come in before the end of the year. Seems like they're probably going to stick with the lease pricing they have, but they might offer some other incentives for APR, or maybe discounts with the referral program and more. I'll be sure to keep you posted. Next up today, one of the latest cars from Tesla is the Model Y Standard. Of course, it brings a lot of downgrades, but Edmunds did a recent test with this car and actually had really great results when it comes to range. For the Standard Model Y 2026, they achieved 337 miles in their real-world range test. So that actually beat its EPA estimated 321-mile range, and this is the best Model Y result that Edmunds has had yet. It's the longest range that they've recorded on any Model Y, even though this one is supposed to be less range. They found that earlier Model Y variants that were long range either fell short of or matched their EPA estimates. Here, this is a result of high efficiency because the Standard uses a smaller battery but delivers strong efficiency compared with their other trims. Of course, they note that you have some sacrifices when it comes to comfort and performance compared with the premium versions, including less comfortable seats and slower acceleration, but range estimates here are becoming more reliable, and Edmunds notes that Tesla's newer models are increasingly meeting or exceeding EPA estimated ranges, which is great to see and adds confidence. Now, for the Model 3 over in China, another variant of this car is showing an estimated delivery pushed to February of 2026. It's joining at least one other trim, so now 2 of the 4 Model 3 variants in China are showing February 2026 as a delivery estimate, so it's sold out through the remainder of December and through January. The other 2 variants are available quicker with a 4 to 6 week delivery time. In some cases, China is still offering inventory vehicles, allowing buyers to take deliveries sooner if they're flexible on the configuration, but this extended wait time does suggest strong demand and constrained production slots for certain Model 3 trims at Giga Shanghai. So production is likely heavily allocated throughout the end of 2025 and even the beginning of 2026, which is a good sign there. Before we go any further, I want to thank today's sponsor, Lasfit. Lasfit makes a fantastic set of durable, all-weather floor mats and cargo liners for the refreshed Model Y. These liners are engineered with precision to fit perfectly, providing heavy-duty protection for your interior in all climates and everyday situations. The full 7-piece kit covers the front and rear footwells, trunk, lower trunk, frunk, and even the back side of the rear seat for those times when you fold them down to haul larger items. It's one of the most comprehensive protection kits you can get for a Model Y. I especially love these mats because I'm constantly loading drums into the back with the seats folded down. So they protect the interior there, but they also elevate it with a much more premium look and feel. Tesla's included carpet mats only cover the front footwells and are tough to keep clean, while Lasfit's mats offer a sleek custom fit that's extremely easy to maintain and still comfortable under your feet. These mats are stain-resistant, waterproof, and anti-slip, so no matter what spills on them, sand, food, juice, or anything, you can just vacuum, rinse, or wipe them off. I've used mine for a few months now, and a quick rinse makes them look brand new again. The environmentally friendly TPE material is more flexible, durable, and wear-resistant than traditional rubber mats, and it's also fully recyclable and free of harmful chemicals, making this one of the safest and most sustainable floor mat options available for the Model Y. To check out the Lasfit floor mats for yourself, click the purchase link in the description and comments below and use discount code RS20 for 20% off. Next up today, the big thing for the future of Tesla is full self-driving, and some big progress there has been happening this week. First, there's the latest Tesla software release, version 2025.44.25.5. That has begun rolling out, bringing out FSD Supervised version 14.2.1.25, with refinements to driving behavior and controls. This adds new FSD arrival options, allowing the car to stop more precisely, plus speed profiles to choose a preferred driving style. It also improves brake confirm behavior, including the option to disable required brake presses in certain situations. And then, of course, this introduces things like Grok with navigation commands, updated dashcam viewer, enhanced navigation, automatic HOV lane routing, and detailed supercharger site maps showing layouts and availability. This comes along with all of the rest of the things that come with the holiday update. So people are now seeing the holiday update mixed with the latest version of FSD. But the big news this week is that Tesla was spotted testing without safety drivers with their Robotaxis in Austin, Texas. Right now, the Robotaxi network exists in 2 markets. Anyone can use one of them there, with a decent wait due to demand at the moment. But a safety monitor is typically in the front somewhere. They're either in the passenger seat or the driver's seat. It seems they're oftentimes in the driver's seat in the Bay Area or when on the freeway in either market, and then they're in the passenger seat for other areas in Austin, Texas. So that's happening, and that's where Tesla has been at, while Waymo is expanding to tons of markets without a safety driver. Remote monitoring could still be involved there, but still, Tesla hasn't actually gotten there yet to where they can carry passengers in a robotaxi without a human there. But now it seems like Tesla could be getting closer. Multiple Model Ys were spotted with nobody in them. Here we can see the first one, and it's just a pretty crazy sight to see this rolling down the road with nobody inside. Of course, we've seen this from other networks, but seeing it in a Model Y is very interesting, especially since this seems to be the exact same car that you can buy. Then there was another sighting with a different license plate, and it does appear that this one might have had a chase car behind it. So of course, this is the first step for them to get towards where they want to go, where there's no safety monitor required, no remote monitoring required, and they can drive passengers. Tesla's head of AI reposted this and said, "And so it begins." And then Wes, the head of Tesla's Cybertruck program, said, "Will be a crazy transition, a bit like when the agents in the Matrix hijack bystanders. Manually driven Teslas suddenly replaced with Robotaxi with an over-the-air." Furthermore, Elon Musk confirmed it, saying testing is underway with no occupants in the car. Then Tesla posted a couple things, repeating things that they've talked about for years. They said, "just saying," when reposting this sighting, and then said, "the fleet will wake up via over-the-air software update." Then they added slowly, then all at once. Essentially, what they appear to be saying here is that we'll see slowly sightings like this of Model Ys without safety monitors, and then all at once they'll be able to remove them when they get to that level. Of course, there are plenty of people that think since one of these cars has a chase car, it's actually just being remote controlled so that they can have sightings like this. And I'm sure they're doing intense monitoring for safety and to make sure that this is going the right direction, but it seems like it's probably a good first step here. At the same time, I do see a lot of Tesla fans high-fiving and saying that the future is already here and that autonomy has been accomplished. But of course, this is still another step on that pathway. For me, I'll be truly excited once we see those rides happening at scale without safety monitors. Now, looking back, though, it is very interesting to see this timeline for full self-driving. Of course, they've been promising this functionality for years at this point, I think all the way back to 2017 or possibly earlier. But Nick Cruz-Patain compiled a whole timeline of FSD. First was FSD Beta version 8, released in October of 2020. Then came version 9 in March of 2021. Version 10 was in September of 2021, version 11 in November of 2022, version 12 in March of 24, version 13 in November of 24, and then version 14 in October of 25. Then by December of 25, of course, we're seeing unsupervised FSD testing without occupants. So the question here is, will we also see another later December 2025 where it's unsupervised FSD testing with passengers? Or is that going to happen sometime into 2026? What is your prediction? Do you think we're going to see this soon? Do you think it's still never going to happen? Do you think it's going to happen this month? Leave a comment below to let me know your thoughts. People are starting to take note here, and major news outlets are now on board for Tesla's FSD after truly testing it out. For years, they have been adamantly against, and in some cases, it's been for good reason. If you watched this channel years ago, you would regularly see me talking about how FSD is not worth the cost, how it doesn't deliver on what they say, and it's always delayed. But now that has definitely changed in the latest versions. I would still argue that in the past, on the most positive outlook, you could say that Elon was overambitious here, but he definitely overpromised in ways that upset consumers and at least contributed to some misuse of this technology. But the overall thing that Tesla investors and Elon Musk will say to that is that he delivers, just late. So it is exciting to see where FSD is today and that people are starting to recognize it because it's pretty objective when you actually try out the technology and see how much of the world it can handle. It's at a very good place and it's good to see. Now, of course, this all leads towards Tesla's dedicated Cybercab, and one of these was spotted testing at Giga Texas. This one is a prototype with side mirrors, so it is interesting to see there, and it seems like these will first come off the assembly line with side mirrors to meet regulation. Another was on display in San Jose, and we can see a few things like redesigned headlights, a larger front bumper lip, no paint on the tires like was in the original prototypes, the B-pillar appears moved slightly forward, it has windshield wipers, and then it has updated seats. Overall, it's still a very, very similar design, but we can see refinements all throughout the interior and exterior. Tesla's purpose-built Cybercab Robotaxi will be very exciting to see for the future, and it should help bring down the cost of transport and increase safety. It's always just a question of what the timeline will be here, but things are looking pretty good for FSD as a whole in these particular markets. Then if you're a customer, version 14 of FSD is performing quite well, and hopefully Hardware 3 support will come sometime in early 2026. Next up today, some big news for self-driving technology. Lidar maker Luminar Technologies has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, aiming to restructure its business rather than shut down entirely. They say that they plan to continue operating during the process, using bankruptcy to reduce debt and stabilize finances amid mounting losses. They've struggled with high operating costs, slowing adoption of LiDAR by automakers, and reduced expectations for near-term autonomous driving deployments. They were once seen as a high-profile autonomous vehicle supplier, but now we're seeing a lot more companies kind of recognize the advantages of vision, like Tesla has gone full force with. This honestly came a lot sooner than I think many expected, but the Volvo deal falling through in particular for Luminar is a big contributor here. Long term, it will be interesting to see how LiDAR does for all vehicles because they're still definitely used in vehicles like Waymos and Zoox and then future Rivian vehicles, so the technology doesn't appear to truly be going away, but Tesla is pushing ahead without it. Next up today, over at Citroen, they have a new concept that's very interesting. This is the ELO, and it's a new tiny all-electric concept car with a clever 6-seat layout packed into a compact footprint. It's designed to maximize interior space and flexibility, and they're particularly aiming this at rest, play, and work. It's a modular living room style cabin that lets occupants use the space for relaxing, socializing, or working while parked specifically. Of course, I think the most exciting thing is when you look at something like this and then the future of self-driving and think about what that could be long term. Inside, the interior has flexible seating, space for activities, and then layouts that rethink how people actually use vehicle space. People say that this challenges conventional designs by making a small footprint feel roomy and multifunctional. Unfortunately, for the most part, when we see a concept like this, we rarely actually see it make it to market. I hope it does. Next up over at VW, they are testing their autonomous Robotaxi competitor. This is kind of their competitor to Tesla's Cybercab, and they're testing it over in Germany using the Gen Urban research vehicle. The Gen Urban prototype operates without a steering wheel or pedals, and they're aiming to explore passenger experiences in real-world urban traffic. The design lacks traditional controls, of course, but for now, a trained safety driver still sits in the passenger seat and can intervene using a special control panel with a joystick during testing. It seems like for now, with the dedicated Cybercab, Tesla is actually testing those with a steering wheel, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future we see a similar situation here where they can intervene with a joystick that just plugs in or something. This VW project overall, though, is just about understanding how people actually interact with autonomous vehicles and feel about them on public roads. Self-driving cars have been promised for a long time, but it seems like we're seeing almost every company dabbling in some form for this future. Next, over at Buick, their Chinese-made electric EV may actually still make its way to the United States. Previously, there were assumptions that this would be Chinese only, but now it seems like it could be making it to the US if all things go correctly. The Electra nameplate has been revived in China as a modern electric sub-brand, with multiple EVs already launched or previewed under that umbrella. And new comments from GM and Buick executives suggest that the company is reconsidering bringing these Chinese-developed EVs or designs to the US market. Of course, they'll have to have some changes for the US, and they would be heavily adapted. But GM does see the value in leveraging China's faster EV development cycles and lower costs to accelerate their North American EV lineup. Of course, there are trade tensions, tariffs, and political scrutiny around Chinese-built vehicles, and so that will be a major hurdle to a US launch here, and we'll have to see how all of that could work in practice. But Buick has confirmed its plans to go fully electric, and the Electra branding could become central to their future identity in the United States. As of right now, there's no official timeline or confirmation here, but the shift in messaging signals that a US Electra EV is back on the table, at least conceptually. So yes, concept yet again. That's all the latest tech, EV, and Tesla news for today. So in the meantime, if you want to see the latest features arriving for Tesla vehicles, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.